the biggest de-risking event for any flow sheet is going from the lab to the demo scale. And we've done that. We're the only group to have done that outside China at this scale in battery of manganese. So the learnings we have are phenomenal.
Hello, you're watching Proactive. Joining me is Gyani Metals CEO Charles Fitzroy. Charles, you've shipped the first high purity manganese oxide samples from your demonstration plant in Johannesburg to potential off-takers. So a significant milestone for the company.
Yes, thanks, Stephen. No, this is it's fantastic news for us and for our shareholders. We've got our samples off to multiple potential off-takers. Very exciting. Obviously, we made our first product back in early in Q1, and now we've got on-spec sample shipped off to off-takers, which is phenomenal. Manganese oxide is the first step in our process, and then now we'll be going on to making the sulfate portion for other off-taker groups we've got lined up. But this first step is really quite important, and with the oxide, having that opportunity to make that as well as sulfate, it opens us up for a wider potential array of future battery chemistries. The market is developing rapidly, and we're seeing a lot of announcements for higher manganese content batteries. And that's why having that oxide ability to make it is so important for us as a group.
So this is going to be sent for testing and qualification to those potential off-takers, Charles. Then you said you're moving on to, this is the precursor to the manganese sulfate. When can we expect that to come through?
So Stephen, yeah, well, Gyani has this option to be able to make oxide and sulfate. Really sets us apart and gives us that edge to be able to target multiple battery chemistries. And now we've sent oxide off to various potential off-takers. We will now be making the sulfate to send off in early Q3. So that is very much on the horizon, not too far away. And there's been obviously some slight delays, but commissioning process, it's not a straightforward thing. And Gyani has a demonstration plant of this size, 100 meters long, 50 meters high. We're the only group outside of China to have one of this size. So we're the only group who's actually gone from a lab to this scale. So it's never going to be a straightforward process. So we're very excited, and the team have done a phenomenal job getting product out. And we are on time for getting that sulfate in Q3. So oxide's gone, sulfate in Q3.
Charles, we've chatted about this before, and you said that the demo plant played a crucial role in de-risking the commercial plant, which you're planning for Botswana.
Yes, Stephen. This commissioning process has really brought out some amazing learnings. We've managed to optimize our reagents. We've managed to reduce some reagents which are not that great and take those out. And now we have a cleaner waste stream. So the commercial facility waste streams will be much cleaner. We've also managed to create a byproduct, a very, very valuable byproduct, which has a good market. And we've looked into that extensively. So that's very positive, which again will improve the economics. We understand the flow sheet much better than we did before. The biggest de-risking event for any flow sheet is going from the lab to the demo scale. And we've done that. We're the only group to have done that outside China at this scale in battery of manganese. So the learnings we have are phenomenal. And those are feeding directly into the DFS, which is underway. And also they'll be feeding directly into the commercial plant design, which will enable a smoother ramp up and also a smoother and shorter construction period. So everything we're doing now, we're learning and we're gathering information and building on it. And now we've got a clear runway to first sulfate. DFS, because of these slight additions and changes, the DFS is going to be shifted into Q1 next year, just to give that time for all this information to feed in the DFS. So the DFS is now due end of Q1 2026. And construction is planned for 27. So realistically, we are pushing into this manganese demand, which is coming from the battery makers. We've had a lot of recent news flow. For example, Ford and GM have released in the last 3 weeks that they are now have had massive breakthroughs in LMR, so lithium manganese rich chemistries. We know a lot of other groups are developing LMFPs, and LMFP is gaining share. A lot of higher manganese content batteries are gaining share, and that is adding to this demand profile, which is coming from the car manufacturers. So we're seeing a big demand increase from 27, 28 onwards, and Gyani will be ramping up into that perfectly. So we're strategically positioned to take advantage of that, and everything is pointing towards a very, very bright future for higher manganese content batteries. And this going back to the start of this discussion, first shipment of multiple products of oxide to off-takers now. So we're very well positioned to start our off-take discussions and then go into that project financing.
Charles, I hope you'll keep us posted on any progress with that. Thank you very much for speaking with us today.
Thanks, Stephen.
That's Gyani Metals CEO Charles Fitzroy.